So we got the blank right here. As you can see, we gotta have to make it fit in this slot right there. So first we gotta do is to loosen the strings a little bit, maybe even take off the strings completely. So let's go ahead and do this. We gotta go ahead and get this nut loose as well. If it's not loose already, well, maybe, but if it's not loose, just go ahead and put some piece of material on here. Just take a little hammer like this and just lightly do like that, and also from this side doing like this, just to make it loose in here. And I think it's already loose here, so I think I can get it loose. So this is what this nut is looking like. Probably the most common nut sitting in a American made Stratocaster. So I think these ones are very common. However, also you gotta make sure to see that it's nothing in the nut slot here. You gotta clean it up if there is something looking not to be there. So now we gotta start to shape this blank here to fit the nut slot here as good as we can. Possibly a little bit tight, but not too tight, but you know, possibly a perfect fit in there. So let's go ahead and do that now. So this is pretty much it's a tight fit there now. I don't know if you can see that on video, but this is a tight fit. It's not too tight though, but this is I think this is a great fit actually, and it is seated in both sides too, so there shouldn't be a problem. So this is pretty much what it's looking like now. You can see it's sticking out a little bit there, but I'm gonna take a pencil and make some marks right here on the edges, and also take a special little pencil on top of here to mark out the height, so I have some references to go after when continuing shaping this nut here. I have one of these pencils right here. This is just a wooden pencil that I cut on my bandsaw, so that is half and sharp right here. So basically what I do, I just put it on top of here, and I just put it on top here, and I'm going like this. something like that. Then I take another pencil right here, make some marks. One just around there, and one just on this side right there. So I've got some indications here, indicators, how to continue shaping this nut here. So let's go back on the shaping machine and see what it's all about, trying to get this kind of shape right here. So now I gotta be a little bit careful here, because I don't want to sound down all the way to this line here that I made. I just want to stay a little bit above, actually, to start with at least. So let's go ahead and try to shape this one now. So now I pretty much got the shape that I want, even though very sharp edges here. That's something else to work with. But first of all, we got to see that it's, you know, it's to its size. Now, once the strings are off, it's a little bit easier to work with. So this is a snug fit right here. It's a little bit too wide still, so I need to take it down a little bit further. Other than that, comparing to the old nut here, it's exactly the same height, and everything is pretty much perfect. Even though I need to do some more shaping with this nut here, so I'll be back in a quarter of a second. Okay, let's go ahead and see what this is all about. Oh yeah, I think we're getting there. It's still a little bit too much on this edge here, so yeah. I think this is perfect, yeah. And it's perfectly seated in there as well. It looks like a little gap there, but that's not actually a gap. This is some problems with the finish here, so yeah. And yeah, I think that is pretty good actually. So what to do now is to continue shaping this to get the round edges here. But first of all, I want to make some marks where to put the slots. So to do that, you know, normally you will most likely want to need a string spacing ruler. I had one of these not long ago, but I actually let someone borrowing it, and do you think I ever got it back? No, I didn't. So it's also okay to use the all nut as a reference to make marks, to know where to put the where to put the new slots. This is exactly where the old slots are, so this is going to work perfect even for this one. The reason I'm doing this now is to be sure not to round these edges too much, because you would like to have some material here. You can see that you don't want to round it too close to the slot here, so that's why I'm making these now, so that I know how much to round off these ones. So let's go ahead to the sanding machine and do these corners rounded now. So now let's put it in there. Fits just perfect. Maybe I could have taken off a little bit less material, but you know, it seems pretty good after all. I cannot really feel any edges here or anything, because you don't want to make it too round all the way from the bottom here. It's just you know, just above the fretboard here that you want to kind of like take off around the corners, so to speak. It's perfectly rounded here now. So what I want to go ahead and do right now, before gluing this one or anything like that, we want to go ahead and put on some fresh strings on here, and just to have them hang here, so that we can get some indications on where the strings is going to be, that it's lining up to the marks here, the lines here on the nut. And also that will determine if the nut is needs to be taken down anymore on the top here. This nut, I'll be studying this nut a little bit, and I can see that the slots is poorly, it's not really in an angle like this, because you don't want all of the string be resting in the slot here. You want this edge closest to the fretboard here, to this fret here, be kind of like very sharp, and then the slot needs to be a little bit downwards like this, pointing to the headstock. And this nut doesn't seem to be very much of that actually, so that is also something to think about when making a nut like this. So let's go ahead and put on some strings here. Okay, so I put on some strings here. They're not very tight, but just to get an idea that the little markings that I did is correct, and it seems to be correct, I think. Yeah. What I want to go ahead and do is to take the 46 file here. This is the 46 file right there, and very, very gently I'm putting my thumb here to get some rest for the file. Just to get a little notch there, just to have the string something to rest on right there. Then I take these the 9 right there, and doing the very same on the edge here. I just do a little notch in a 90-degree angle like this, just a little bit, so that the string has something to rest in, like that. Now I can place the other strings where I did the markings, just to make sure everything is okay. 26. $16. $11. $9. This is some serious stuff right here. For this as well, you can use thickness gauges and all that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna teach you that, but when pushing down here on this third fret here, 1, 2, 3, you can see that it's quite a lot of gap here. You can see that I'm pushing down right there. So the distance I want in between this fret and this right here should be probably less than a millimeter. It should be. Let's go ahead and make the slot a little deeper here. And now I'm going to get the file in this direction here, so that the slot will be facing down to the headstock. I would say I'm gonna go ahead and start with that. So now I just continue with all the others, and remember now to tighten up the strings when doing this, so that the you have some pressure on the strings here. Also, remember not to file on the wood here, so don't put too much angle here, so be very careful. If you're not comfortable with this, put some piece of tape under here so that you can see when you're knocking in the tape. Yeah. There is just one more little thing to do, and that is using some of this stuff right here. This is nut sauce actually. So you put just a little bit in the slot here, and you hear that? That means that the string is you have friction and the string is gripping onto the nut here. So we're gonna go ahead and put on some of this lube here, and this will not be a problem anymore. So let's see here. There we go. This is super great stuff, actually. You don't really need very much on there. There we go. Voila, the problem is gone. There's no more gripping on the string, gripping on the nut slot. So problem solved. And this is great for tuning stability. And it comes in a tube like this. And this brand is the Dario right there, and I believe that one of these kits will last for, you know, many years, because you don't need very much on there. So this is I would consider this is done now, actually. Okay guys, that's pretty much what it is for this video. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below here. If you're not a subscriber of my YouTube channel, I would be very happy if you go ahead and click that little subscribe button down below here. And now remember, this is kind of like a how-to video. This is at least how I do it. You know, there is many ways to do this, but in general, generally speaking, there is only one way to do it, and there is a lot of different tools to do these kind of things. And it will take some time. If you've never done this before, it will take some time before you manage to make a, you know, a nut and using the files in a correct way. If you screw this up, you take away too much material in the nut slot, you're pretty much screwed. Then you need to make a whole new nut, because you need to be very, very specific when it comes to string height on the nut. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching this video, and until next time, take care now. Bye bye then.